This might be one of the most important videos that I make when it pertains to fitness on this channel. Mainly because it's going to show you once and for all why if you're not tracking your fitness, whether it's your food, your workouts, your calories burned, whatever the case is that you're not tracking, why you're leaving so many results on the table. What's good, YouTube? It's Coach John back again with another video, dropping some knowledge to help you get to your fitness goals faster and more enjoyably. So if you're interested in doing so, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, by the way, if you need help setting up your calories and your macronutrients, okay, I actually created a free guide that helps you do exactly that in the most practical, efficient ways, as well as some extra detailed information in there as well for you, so you can check that out in the description box below. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into this. Why is it that, two things. Why is it that, one, do I always talk about tracking calories, tracking workouts, even tracking sleep, tracking everything you can, tracking your water intake, and making sure that you're hitting these numbers? Why do I always do that? And why is tracking so important when it comes to fitness? Well, the funny thing is, tracking is extremely important when it comes to anything in life. But for some reason, people's logic goes right out the window when it comes to fitness. So let me give you an example. If you wanted to save as much money as possible, okay, or let's just disregard you don't want to save as much money as possible, but do you know how much money you make? If the answer is no, I can tell you right now that there's a very small chance you're ever going to be financially wealthy or free. And if you don't know how much you're expending, well, same thing goes for that as well. If you wanted to set a goal, if you set a goal to save up enough money for a house or whatever, a car, something that you want, are you just going to arbitrarily cut your expenses down to as close to zero as possible, even though you're not tracking them, and just work more hours at work? That's it? That's the plan of action? Or are there different ways? Are there ways that you can actually track your expenses, track your income, and see exactly the best way that you can maybe increase income and eliminate some unnecessary expenses, or get other expenses cheaper, and so on? Which one is going to yield a better result in the end? Which one's going to yield a more precise result? Well, hopefully, I know my viewers are pretty sensible, so you would understand that obviously tracking your finances makes logical sense. And most people might think, well, that's because it's math. Well, the truth is, so is fitness. There are so many physiological factors underneath the surface that happen in fitness, in the body. However, as far as what we can manipulate and as far as what we can see, we need to go off of numbers, because if not, we're going off of arbitrary feelings and arbitrary information that can completely deviate one day to the next. So for that reason, we track things like body weight, nutrition, calories intake, calories expended, weights, reps, sets you're doing. Try to track your sleep, your water intake, and everything else you can when it pertains to your fitness, because now you have control and understanding as to what factors you need to manipulate first, last, what you need to prioritize, what you need to fix up. All of these things are huge eye-openers. By the way, the same thing goes if you're an athlete, right? If you're an athlete, you are probably tracking your stats if you're a high-level athlete. But guess what? If you're not a high-level athlete, you don't track stats, because they don't matter. You're not a high-level athlete. So if you're not trying to be a high-level athlete, you don't track your stats. If you are, you do. Same with grades. A lot of students don't really track their grades, don't really compare their grades from one semester to the next. But the best students do. The best students have their eye on the ball at all times. They know exactly what grade they got in math 3 years ago. They know exactly what their grade is currently, what they need to get X grade by the end of the semester, etc. Look, this applies across the board. You have businesses, most businesses fail. Why? Because people don't track anything. Business is numbers. Fitness is numbers at the end of the day if you want full control over it. And again, these numbers and being aware of these things eliminates guessing altogether. When we actually have data that we can use, like how many calories you're intaking and your body weight, well, now we can make some much more educated decisions and estimations based off that data. Whereas if somebody else says, I can't lose weight, I've tried everything, and you say, well, how many calories did you eat? I don't know. What's your body weight? What's the rate of weight loss you've been experiencing? I don't know. Well, how can we know anything? But the worst part is people will still go and say, say, oh, you just need to cut your carbs. Oh, you just need to stop doing this. Oh, you just need to add in some more cardio. It's arbitrary. Nobody can give a prescription or a recommendation unless they have all the data they need to make an educated decision or recommendation. But unfortunately, that is not the case. As we all know, people in the fitness industry and just people in general that want to get fit do things arbitrarily, because the fact of the matter is, and I recently just made a video on 10 signs if you're winging your fitness. Guess what? If you are not tracking, if you want to get in better shape, but you are just going about it by, I'm just gonna cut carbs, I'm just gonna work out 3 times instead of 2 times, you're just not as committed as you could be. Unfortunately, that is the truth. And everybody knows this. Everybody deep down knows. It's like people trying to make more money, but they're not tracking anything. Deep down, they know if they tracked, they would probably see more results. The thing is it's more effort. It's math, and people like to say that they hate math and all the, listen, if you hate math, you better get used to liking it, because fitness is math. The world, the universe we live in is governed by math. Now, I hope that it's pretty clear that this is the only way to maximize your results when it comes to fat loss or muscle gain, anything fitness related and otherwise. So, for example, people always come and say, oh, you know, I've lost 20 pounds off of keto. How can you hate on keto? Okay, you lost 20 pounds off of keto, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't have lost 30 and enjoyed it more and eaten carbs the entire time, performed better, gained more muscle in the process if you did tracking instead of just arbitrary ketogenic type diets or intermittent fasting. Sure, people confuse results with optimal results. Sure, you could also just not eat any food for the next 5 days. You're not gonna die if you're pretty fat. You're gonna lose a ton of fat. Is that optimal though? No. Is that going to get you as far as you want? No. Is it going to get you in the best shape you want? No. So for example, a lot of these pro bodybuilders, none of them track weights. None of them. Or at least from what I've seen, they don't often track their weights. They go off the feeling, right? It feels good, it's this, that, and the other. One thing we have to understand is those bodybuilders are extremely genetically gifted, so they have that on their side, as well as they've got amazing coaches, trainers, and the aid of some supplements, if you will. However, with that said, just because they're seeing insane results from what they're doing doesn't mean they can't see even more insane results if they tracked, which by the way, they would. They would see more insane results if they did, because now they can control the playing field. They can manipulate any and all variables, and they can determine what variables affect what. Right? So if they're drinking 4 liters of water every single day, and all of a sudden they start drinking 3 liters of water every day, their performance is down, their energy levels are down, they can look back and say, it's because my water dropped, and they can fix it a lot quicker instead of just guessing and saying, oh, let's try this, let me try this, maybe I gotta cut that, maybe I gotta add that. Tracking is data. Data is taking the guessing out of the game. So if you're not tracking your weights, your body weight, your calories intake, your water, your sleep, anything, and this goes for everything else, if you're not tracking it, okay, name me one successful company that you know, that you buy products from, that you love their products, that doesn't track their stuff. Okay, people's logic goes out the window when it comes to fitness, because there are people that see results that don't tell, that they say don't track. But again, those people saw results. It doesn't mean they couldn't have seen 10 times the results. And I'm telling you right now, they all would have, and they all still can. But they're too ignorant to think, no, what I'm doing works. What I'm doing is the epitome. Look, what I'm saying here, this is not my method. Tracking calories and workouts and this, that is not my method. I'm not a guru. I'm not telling you of my superior method. I'm telling you of the superior method, objectively. Okay, subjectively, sure, I would prefer to not track and just go in and hit every set till failure and do this, that, and the other. But the fact of the matter is, objectively speaking, it is not optimal, and it just makes sense. So, if you've always wondered why I'm always tracking everything, and I'm always telling you guys to track everything. Listen, I understand that only 1% of you are actually going to go through with it, if that. But that message is for the 1%. All of these messages are for the 1%, because if you're not in that 1%, if you're not willing to track everything about your fitness, then Unfortunately, that means you're not willing to take your fitness to a mastery level. You're not looking to maximize your fitness. And I can guarantee you this, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're not looking to master, give it your all in your fitness, then it's very likely that you're not willing to master or give it your all in every other area of your life. So with that said, I hope that you guys found this video informative and helpful, and I hope that it brought to light that maybe some of you watching realize that, wow, I have not been committed. I have been slacking on this tracking thing. And honestly, it comes down to building the habit of doing so. I get it, it's going to be tough at first. It is. The best of us, we all fall off. As long as you get back on, and the majority of the time you're tracking. Look, I've got my workouts in here, and I track these every damn day. Now, I might miss a day here and there, but I'm tracking them at least 90% of the time I'm in the gym. Why wouldn't I? It's on my phone. I have my phone with me. I want to make sure I get stronger. I want to make sure I'm maximizing my potential. And unless you're tracking, you will not maximize your potential. Just because somebody saw 20 pounds of fat loss on keto doesn't mean that keto is the only way. It doesn't mean that keto is the best because they tried everything else and it didn't work. Nobody can try tracking accurately and not see fantastic results. With that said, there's also a con to doing so, and that's attachment. That's attachment to the numbers. If you get attached to the numbers, you're gonna stress yourself out, you're gonna have anxiety, you're gonna worry because you're starting to think that the numbers define you, that the numbers mean this is who you are, or you messed up, you don't deserve this and the other. Detach yourself from the number, detach yourself from the scale, from the calories, from overeating if you do sometimes. Understand the bigger picture. If you get stressed out because of numbers, then again, this world is just not something you're ready for. And that's just the God honest truth. If you can't detach yourself from numbers, you're gonna be stuck end up doing keto one day, or intermittent fasting, or the latest fad, and unfortunately you will never master your fitness. Sure, you might see some better results, and for those of you out there who don't want to master it and who want to just see some results, that's great. You're gonna go and get those results, but you're gonna hit a ceiling, and it's gonna be short-lived. So if you wanna master your life, your physical fitness, your mental health, everything, start tracking. I hope you found this one helpful. If so, hit the like button. Dislike if you want to get roasted. You know I'm here for that. Don't forget to share with your friends and subscribe, because I'm seeing you in that next video. Thanks again. I'm out.